Yeah, it's a frustrating night for everybody connected on and off the pitch, really. So, yeah. A couple of poor goals we've given away in the last two games that put us on the back foot and make the game double difficult, especially in this division when you concede the first goal. The first goal was a poor goal from our point of view. We're in really good shape. We just have to make a couple of really better decisions. Which we didn't. Femi goes backward and square. City goes back. Goalkeeper gets trapped. We're open and they find a fabulous finish. Gives them a boost, and then I thought up to half time we were okay. We had enough for the ball without finding the quality that we needed to. The attitude was good of the players. I'm not going to criticise them from that point of view. And in a way, sometimes you want to be a little bit more calmer, but they're anxious to get back into the game, and then we leave ourselves open. We make some poor decisions. I think we've had 25 shots, but we got the ball to where we wanted to get the ball. Okay, but when we got into those positions, when you're just looking for that bit of quality that I believe that we possess, especially when we, they were so narrow and we got it out wide, and we need to find that bit of quality. We just never found it, and they were brave and they left two up and they counted on us and they had a couple of opportunities. So, it was it's a difficult night for us. It was a frustrating night for everybody, and the longer the game went on, the more we didn't control our emotions well enough. The anxiety sort of crept into the players, and decisions that they've not really made all season started creeping into the game. And I've said if you go deep into a season like we are doing, we've got to deal with this a lot better. And we've not really dealt with that tonight. So a new experience for a lot of our players as well. Playing for a big club in this division, it's not League One now. It's big boys football. It's game on. Playing against good opposition, playing against some good players and a good manager that have still got something to fight for. But we've still got something to fight for. So I understand the negativity, which I said to you, Dan, in the week leading up to my presser. I take that all day long. If we don't play well and we don't get the performance, or if we play, like we've done tonight, a bit better than what we did Saturday, but don't get the result, I get the negativity. I don't, like we talked about. I'm going to stick up for the players. Yeah. I'm a believer in them. I'm a backer of them. It don't look good for City and young players that we want to build the team around, and players that we want to keep if they're getting completely abused. So I've said all that, but we have to deal with the negativity because we've brought that on ourselves, and I get that, and I've no problem with that. And the narrative as well, which will be we're out the race. I don't think that's the case with 5 games to go, but we've got to reset. I've got to pick the right team for Saturday, and we've got to reset, and we've got to go and put a big performance in, because there's no real margin for errors now. We've not lost 3 games all season on the spin. We lost 2, I think once or twice. Once. So twice. So we've got to adjust that, and we've got to make sure we get ourselves back on track, and these last 2 results don't define our season.
Not looking for excuses, but could you have had a penalty?
100%. I'm not a fan of the referee. I don't think I should get into trouble, by the way, on that one. I'm being honest. I wasn't a fan of him last season when he refereed us against Luton, when he was asking for Ross Barkley's shirt. I don't know whose shirt he was after today, but maybe the shirt on Anel's back that got absolutely ripped to pieces. So I think especially when that situation that we had against Middlesbrough, you're looking for consistency. I always think he wants to be the star of the show, so I knew what was coming, so I'm not surprised.
This is not a question that's predicated on the result, but was there a dilemma for you pretty much about picking the same side? Or
Well,
changes?
damned if I do, damned if I don't,
Yeah,
aren't I?
yeah.
You know, only a week before we produced arguably one of our best performances against a team that's won 10 out of 11, and everything's rocking. So just how quickly emotions change. I think collectively they were all poor on Saturday at Oxford. I don't think anybody came out of it with any sort of credit in terms of, I think we talked about it, 4s and 5s, and might be a bit kind as well. So I thought it was the right thing to do to let them go again. I thought the energy in the team first half was good. We got after the opposition. I thought our start was good, but going a goal behind, you know, makes it even more difficult, especially when you've got, you know, sort of experienced players like they've got, and they're making some really good decisions. So yeah, they you know, they'll deserve and enjoy their result. But I always think that, you know, like that, whatever I did, you know, the selection didn't really decide the performance stroke result, and I thought the performance was okay. It wasn't anywhere near what we produced on Saturday, but I think people will attach performances to results and maybe attach the performance tonight to the result. It wasn't horrific. You know, 69, 70% possession, 25 shots on target, stuff like that. But ultimately, we're in the business of creating chances and scoring goals and winning games of football, and we've lost two on the spin in an incredibly important part of the season.
It's fine for me, that anxiety you touched upon on the pitch. How do you sort of manage that? Is there
Well, it's quite difficult. I might have to look, like you said, at team selection. I might have to freshen it up on Saturday. I might have to take a couple of boys out the firing line. It's new experience for some of the young boys. It's not an experienced team right the way through, but that's not an excuse, because they've done it and they've got to learn and they've got to get through. The younger boys have got to get through this period if they want to be top players. They've got to be able to deal with business ends of seasons and pressure games and making those decisions. And at the moment, we're not finding that balance. But we'll go again. There's still a hell of a lot of points to play for. I get the narrative that we're out of it, so I've no issue with that. Only us can affect performance stroke results, and we've got to go and do that on Saturday at Plymouth. Cheers.
Chris, having been in the last couple of Leeds games, the mood's been just as downbeat after them, and they're top of the league now. You know, that could be you next weekend. So how do you sort of manage the highs and lows of the emotion and your own emotion?
Yeah, I'm cool. I've been through the stretch before, so I've had experience and had success coming through the stretch. So you know, we try to put that to the players. They've got to enjoy it. They've got to stay calm, but they're the ones in front of 25,000 people on a Tuesday night with 5 games to go and a massive prize in front of them. So it's quite difficult, Stu, to get away from the situation. You know, they you know, can't board them up and lock them up and turn the TVs off and get rid of the phones. They have to deal with it and handle it and come through it. Yeah, there was a situation, wasn't there, a month ago, which is 4 or 5 games we were sort of 6 or 8 points off of it. So it's still incredibly tight. But from me, what we have to deal with is our performance and giving ourselves an opportunity of putting in a good enough performance to win a game of football. And over the last 2 games, I thought the performance okay today, but we've got to be better. And if we wanna get the big prize, you know, we have to be better individually, connect as a team a little bit better, and win games of football at this stage of the season. And if not, we all know the outcome of that. So we the only ones that can deal with it and adjust it and make it better.
Is there much you can do in terms of, like you say, you can't board them up, but in terms of their moods, do you have to sort of put a real show in, you know, next time you're at Shirecliff to sort of lift?
I think as a manager, you're always an actor. So you know, you have to feel the mood and feel the tension if there is stuff, and come off of them, and times where you need to step on them. So we'll try and get that feel right. But ultimately, you know, the players have got to be able to handle those situations, and that's why the top players are the top players, because they can handle the emotion, they can handle the stage of the season, they can handle the pressure. And you know, we're in a pressurous situation. We all are. You know, a result, I should imagine, down the road, what anybody possibly nobody would have expected as well. So you know, it's not just on us, but ultimately it's those teams that find a way and deal with it the best, that they're going to come out winning, and we've got to find a way and deal with it better to start winning games. 2 points in it. As I said, it's swung. I don't think we've, you know, I was saying to the guys, have we ever been really cut adrift all season? I don't think we have. So you know, it's 5 games, but we, you know, ultimately have to put everything into Saturday and don't really worry about, you know, what's coming up next Friday, or what's coming up next Monday, or what's coming up at Stoke, or what's coming up at Blackburn. We've got to be better in everything that we do, off the pitch and on the pitch, to give ourselves a chance of getting a win on Saturday.
It's still in your hands, isn't it?
You wouldn't think so, would you? But this is how it is. It's the emotion of football, and the narrative, as I said, Shieldsy, will be that, you know, we've lost 2 games of football that we're all expected to win. And as I said in the presser, it would be pretty easy and straightforward, because we'd all get a coupon, wouldn't we, and win a load of dough. But we don't. So, but inwardly we have to look and be better on so many things, and we've got to, as I said, try and take that anxiety away. Because when we do play freely, you know, which was only 10 days ago, 11 days ago, it was arguably our best performance of the season. So we have to deal with that side of it better. But we got frustrated tonight, and we got ragged, and you know, we were making some, you know, poor decisions, and that's what it does to you. That's what it does to teams at this stage of the season. So. Hopefully a calming performance, a better performance on Saturday, and it's not going to be a straightforward game, because they're fighting for their lives as well, and a win will settle us down. And but we need that. We need a result Saturday now. We understand that.
Chris, I think an early answer, but a lot of the pundits now, a lot of fans would be looking at that Burnley game as if that's going to sort of define your season. What would you say to that?
Well, if we win at Burnley and lose the next 4, it makes no odds, does it? We've got to win the next game of football from our point of view, because we can't allow that gap if we want to be successful or want to take the season deep. We can't allow that gap to grow. So yeah, we got to go and win a game of football, and we'll deal with the Burnley situation. The Burnley game will take care of itself, but. From a mathematical point of view, you win the next 5 games, you go up. So we understand that, and so do Burnley, and so do Leeds. So we're all in the same situation.